Hello everyone, my name is Marts, like Jen said, and I'm a senior exercise science major at Slippery Rock University. And not to sound like a news system commercial, but this was me 3 years ago. This is me now. I'm in the best shape of my life, but I'm not talking physically, I'm talking mentally. From there to here, there's an imaginary timeline with a series of events that happened that allowed me to transform from this, which I'll explain to you, to who I am today. To understand who I am today, you have to hear this process, you have to understand who I was. And that's where I'm going to start. Okay, who was I? 18 years old, came to Slippery Rock to play football. Didn't really care about grades too much, I was getting a full scholarship, and I was like, yo, I'm living the life, this is awesome. But something happened. End of my first semester, I got a GPA I didn't like, 2.75, and something clicked. And I didn't really understand what it was yet, but it was very reconsidered, as you can see down there. So, I started going through this process of what's more important, which is the first stage, contemplation. I began to think and weigh out the pros and cons. Thought to myself, I have this foundation of football, my academics isn't even begun to be built yet because I didn't care about it at first. So I kept weighing it out, and the reality finally hit me. What are the chances that I'm going to go to the NFL? Look on your faces tell me they're kind of small. So, the one thing that people have to get by in this stage is the fear of change. I got past that. So I took action. This is me pulling a plane, by the way, for a charity, but okay. Made a decision. I was excited, but confused at the same time, and I thought to myself, I have no idea what's going to happen. I'm excited though, so what's out there? So I started taking action here. I joined SACA, because that was something I couldn't do before, that I really wanted to do, that I was being held back from playing football that I needed. I know I needed. It was more relevant to my future, my career, my major, everything. But like I said, this side was down here. Well, now that I discontinued playing football, this foundation's gone, so I had to rebuild everything. The instant gratification was not there anymore. So I had to rebuild it. Change started to occur. After that, reflection. You think about, what happened? What did I do? Did I make the right decision? I don't know. But things started to happen slowly but surely. What's going to happen? I had no idea. But I started to figure out what I can do now. By doing that, things started to happen again. And more gratification started to build. And this side started getting a little higher. So through learning reconsidered, I started taking a better approach towards in the classroom events as I did outside the classroom, because I know I needed what I was learning inside the classroom to apply outside to what I really wanted to do. Now, emotional engagement and information acquisition, I want to kind of tie together a few examples of things that I've done, starting with this one right here. This is a SACA CSI, as Dr. Anning talked about earlier, and what this is right here is we taught the students how to do strongman events. Okay, to do that, this is out of the classroom. I'm not getting 10 out of 10 on this, like a quiz. Wasn't getting graded on. This is something I really wanted to do, which is the emotional engagement part, but I had to teach it to them, which is the information part. And by teaching it to them, I learned to better myself. Okay? Picture on your right. That's an epic picture because this is actually a client I have. So this is a prime example of something I love to do that I applied to the real world. And that was actually a competition I hosted, my first one of 2 when I was 20 years old last year. And he got 3rd place out of 8, which made me feel great because he was the lightest person there, which was awesome. So that proves right there, stepping outside of your comfort zone allowed you to be able to do something like this and feel great about it. And that'll differentiate you from someone else who will never do that because they're too scared of stepping out of the box, which is what I love to do now. Here's another example. You saw these heights earlier, but I want to explain them from my point of view. This is the rugby team, something they actually do. This is an event SACA put on to help the rugby team do these exercises because they don't have a strength coach, they don't have a coach actually, it's kind of a club team, but that's a different story. Now, put those two together. I'm teaching her the push press, which could possibly potentially better them, and that move they're doing right there. To get this event together, I had to want to do it. Once again, I didn't get an 8 or a 9 or a 10 out of 10 on this. This was like 7:30 at night, on my own time, energy, commitment to want to do this. But honestly, if I didn't know how to do the things we were teaching, how would that end up teaching the push press? So you kind of just like, you know, have to know how to explain this from something I learned in Dr. Anning's class. So that's taking something inside the classroom, out of the silo, and applying it to a real-world situation. Next example. This is a conference I went to about 2 years ago, and to go to a conference, you have to be willing to commit your time, your energy, your money to do that. So there's the emotional part. The information part. They put us into little groups, and they gave us a situation. My situation was an 84-year-old client who has never worked out in his life, and we had to put him through 4 progressive movements to be able to do a push-up on his own body weight on his own. So we started on the wall, like this, easy, got a little harder. Then you can see we went to the bench, then eventually a modified push-up on his knees. So I had to take what I learned from the classroom, go to this conference, and try to put this together on the spot. They didn't put this on paper and say, choice A, you can do this, this, and this. Choice B, this, this, and that. No, I had to think, then present it to everyone that was there. And it wasn't just that small group. That was a small group of like 3 or 4. There were hundreds of people there. So I had to take that, put it all together, and then present it to these professionals. And I can't pretend I know what I'm talking about here, because they'd be like, really? You know? And then they gave us their perspective on it. She put a sandbag on my back, which would be a little bit easier than being on my knees, because it's still elevated like that, as you can see right there. So I learned something out of that, but I got to apply myself, teach it to other people, and learn it just a little bit better. And that helped me in the long run. Next. Okay. You saw these sides earlier too. I'm going to give you my point of view. This is an emotional connection you'll get with people from doing these types of things. If Sokka didn't want to do this, these pictures would not exist. I would not have met 3 out of the 6 people there. So I didn't know everyone there. I knew myself, Brian, and Scott. I met them 3. And then they haven't taken this class that I've taken yet. So I had to teach them how to do these exercises, watch them make sure they're doing it okay, and then watch them teach it to someone else, which helped me, and then help them out as well. So when they actually go to this class, they're going to have a little bit of an idea of how to do this already, so it's going to be easier to them, and maybe they'll help people in their class learn better as well, which is great. Then you can see the other one, we're all just all happy, goofing off. It was a great time. And that's just something I wanted to do, but I had to have the information to be able to put it together, to teach it to people, for that to happen. The gratification I was talking about earlier. This is me building myself back up through something that'll better me in the future that I wanted to do, that I like. Okay. Then this right here I feel is an ultimate example of taking everything I've learned and putting it into one event. I was one of the youngest people ever to host a professional strongman competition, and through that I had to do a million different things. I had to learn organization. I had to go network. I went to 3 different states promoting this event with one of my friends. That's a big deal. That's stepping outside of your comfort zone, trust me. And then dealing with other professionals like this, being so young, they already look down like, does this kid really know what's going on? I hosted one before, but it wasn't professional or sanctioned like this one. So, and then I had to deal with thousands of dollars also. I have a business minor and accounting class. So I was like, ooh, I'm going to use my accounting class to deal with all this money and keep it in track and everything. So I did that. So I got to take something from my classroom, bring it out. Leadership ability. Through Sokka and through school, I got the ability to make decisions on the spot. Someone dropped a log on their ankle, broke it. What do I do? I had to make a decision. Someone got injured again later that day. What do I do? Got to make a decision. The meet got delayed. What do I do? I had to make a decision like that. And they were coming to me because I was the one hosting the event, so I had to be able to have this leadership ability and apply what I know to this situation and get things going like that. Next. Okay. This right here is just an example of teamwork because there's four people there for one event. There's me and the scorekeeper. There was Craig who was yelling the time at me. There was someone taking the time, and there was a judge. Now I had to be able to have the trust and leadership to ask those people to come help me, and I have to know what they're talking about. If I don't know what I'm talking about, how can I know if they know what they're talking about? Fact number 1. So there's the information part, and I really, really, really wanted to do that. So there's the emotional engagement of this event. Awesome. That's learning reconsidered, an example right there. Now right here, I bring that up. We had a guest speaker come in, Mr. Joe Moss, and he talked about his type of training, things that he did. There was about 100 or so people there, and he called someone up from the audience. This is Kevin, and he was willing to walk up, nervous as he was, because he asked if you're nervous. He was like, dude, yeah, I'm so nervous, oh my God. And then he got to experience this firsthand. So instead of sitting on the seat watching it, thinking, oh, I understand, he actually got up, he had the opportunity, and took the opportunity, which is the biggest thing you always have to do. to get up there and do it. So through all this transformation, I kind of turned into a learning reconsidered advocate by providing opportunities to people, because that was me. I was the one that wanted to go up and try it and embarrass myself potentially and learn this just a little better, like you saw at the NSCA conference. So through these opportunities, I got to do cool things like present at the MARC conference, something I thought I would never do. Because when I first came here, I was sitting right there like, I'm never going to do that. And where does that lead? Where does that lead? Where I'm at today. My involvement's changed a little bit. I'm the president of SOC, I'm the vice president of the Bodybuilding and Fitness Club, I've been a personal trainer for a year and a half, I'm a teaching assistant of the strength class, I'm a contest promoter, I've been an MC, which killed my public speaking, oh my god, for a bodybuilding show. So there's 2,000 people sitting there, and there's a group of professionals, judges, sitting in front of me, doing this for 15 years, so I'm like, I hope I don't mess up. And now I love public speaking, which I hated at first. Like I said, presenting at the MARC, why? All because of learning reconsidered. So now Dr. Smith is going to talk about the breakout. Thank you.